Hold up.
Every day I wake up.
Wake your ass up.
The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, indeed.
JD Jermaine Dupri.
What's happening?
How you feeling?
He looking at the wall.
I'm looking at the wall.
We ain't got JD on the wall?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think I made the wall. That's all right.
Dang, we ain't got JD on the wall.
Yeah, y'all ain't got me up there.
Well, no, see, the wall represents like iconic Breakfast Club moments. Not that you haven't given us great interviews.
I haven't had a.
You know what I'm saying?
You have had some, you know.
You ain't never stormed out the studio.
You ain't never slapped Charlamagne, threatened him.
Yeah, I don't have nothing to do
You
with
ain't never
that.
throw a chair.
I'm out of that. I'm not in that conversation.
But you have always coming in and giving us great conversation, man.
Great
And I've
gems.
been enjoying the Magic City docuseries.
Thank you.
And it got me to thinking about like just Atlanta. Like, and Atlanta's had a lot of different runs as far as music is concerned.
Yeah.
But what is Atlanta culture exactly? Is it the strip clubs?
Yeah,
Okay.
100%. That's one of the things. Skating, and I think like it's a bunch of different things like the bass music and a bunch of different things. But we've never really highlighted these things the way I guess I'm trying to do and make sure that people understand that that's what it is. Because I think like people think like even with the strip club situation, it was me and whoever else was promoting this from a long time ago, just black people trying to promote strip clubs. And you learn from the documentary that this was a law that was passed in the city, and might be more states in the South, that nudity was something that they opened the floodgates and made it a business, right? So even me growing up, I never realized why it was so many strip clubs in Atlanta. It was a strip club damn near on every corner or in every hood in Atlanta. And I never understood. I just thought we was just a strip club place. But when you look at this documentary, you start going outside and looking at all the other places, like in Florida and all these other places. You're like, oh, it's a law that was passed, right? And I used to come to like New York when we used to do things, and wherever I go to other cities and be like, man, why these cities ain't popping like Atlanta with the strip clubs? And the law is a real law that gave us the entryway to just have this going. So yeah, that's an Atlanta thing, you know?
Is Magic City the biggest strip club and the most recognized strip club in the U.S. to you? What you think? What's your thoughts on it?
Nah, I think it's been a couple, over the years. I think Magic is in the top 3, of course. But like Booby Trap in Miami,
King of Diamonds.
Miami's always had, they've always had these strip clubs.
Turnover, yeah.
And I
V
think
Live.
I think that's Houston, right?
Houston,
yeah. Yep.
So I think Houston, there's a couple of places that's got, but I don't think Houston can get naked though. That's the thing. It's like we talking about nudity as far as strip clubs, it's Miami and
I think they do
Atlanta.
topless in Houston, but Atlanta was nudity.
Yeah.
So what made you want to
does
do?
Atlanta need that infrastructure now? Because that's when I think about Magic City, I know people look at it as just a titty ball, but when I'm watching the doc or even just growing up, I think of it as infrastructure. This is a place where
100%.
people went to break records.
No, 100%. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I was going to answer your question. The reason why I wanted to do it is because, we don't talk about the places that actually helped us get to where we are. You know what I mean? That part of hip hop stopped a long time ago. Like, when you watch like Wild Style, right? When there's a person that's not from New York, I watch Wild Style. You can see like how Grandmaster Caz them, what they was doing to become and what made hip hop turn into what it was here in New York. And in the later years of hip hop, what shows or anything show kids how we got, how we got to where we are. And I think that, it's important for black establishments to show, like, it's a 40-year-old black establishment. The owner went to jail. They tried to sell his property. He took it back over, and now it's back popping, and now he got a TV show. Like, that's an American dream. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of whatever good or bad, it's a black American dream that we don't ever really be talking about.
What do you
Does
think?
Atlanta need that infrastructure now?
Huh?
Is it needed now?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, we need it more than everybody. I mean, not just Atlanta. Like, a bunch of cities need to. it's probably a bunch of other cities that's got like 40 to 50-year-old black establishments that I don't even know about.
What do you think ruined strip clubs? Because at one time there was a strip club in every city. They were always big. There was 15 in Atlanta. There was 10 in New York. What do you think ruined the strip club?
Safety, right? I think that's why Magic stands out so much, because you can go in Magic with all your jewelry on. You can go in Magic and be the biggest star in the world and be standing next to the biggest criminal in the world. But whatever would happen somewhere else ain't getting ready to happen at Magic. And, you know, I mean, I say that proudly because even me, I go to Magic without security, like, because the security in there going to take care of me like they if they was working for me. And I feel like it's the safest club in Atlanta. So I feel like the safety of strip clubs and how Magic ran the club, strip club etiquette, I think that's what killed strip clubs for the most part.
Now, also, I noticed, you know, growing up when we used to go to strip clubs, you go with a couple dollars, right? And you would be fine all night. That's totally changed.
No, that's not. That's just your mental.
Okay.
Right? That's just people's mental space, right? Because I go to the club now, and, you know, I don't, if Magic City's like overly crowded, I'll go stand by the bar, and I might spend $500 to $1,000. That you know, and by the way,
JD, that's still a lot of money. I was talking about $100, JD.
Okay,
you
but I'm saying
$1,000 at the bar.
Well, I'm just saying, let me put this in perspective so everybody understand what's happened. The other night when Chris Brown them was in Atlanta, they spent $200,000 in Magic City. So my little $500 to $1,000 over there in that corner is like $100, man.
Gotcha.
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Because I hear when people say those numbers, and I'm like, I don't believe that.
No, I swear to God.
On
God.
200,000?
On God. 100 went to Chris, right?
I've seen people order 100,000 singles.
100 went to Chris without a doubt. And Magic, they go, when you order the money, they bring a Magic City bag upstairs for you, backpack.
I got one at the house.
So the backpack had 100 in it. Jada Waiter, y'all know Jada Waiter? Mm-hmm. She got about a dub, right? I think, maybe more. P from QC, I think he ordered 40. Right then and there, you know, that's 160 right crazy. There. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Chris by himself had 100. That's what I'm saying. So if you start splitting it up, I think Bow Wow probably got 10 or 15, 20. You at 200 fast. Mm-hmm.
So when you was back in the day with BMF, how much did you see them spend at one point?
On my album, I have a conversation with Meech, and he says he spent $600,000 one night.
That's insanity.
That's crazy.
What's the most you spent? And now you was in there with Janet. What did you spend?
I mean, I had a limit. Like when everybody heard me say I spent $10,000, that was my limit. So once I got to that 10, I wasn't trying. But by the way, I'm not in there trying to compete. I always felt like, you know, at one point in time when BMF came, or when BMF grew, because I've been in the club with Meech for a long time before BMF was a crew like that. And we used to be at the Gentleman's Club back in when you watched the episode where Magic supposedly was burnt down or whatever, and everybody went to the Gentleman's Club. That's back in the period of time when I actually met Meech, and Meech didn't have the crew of people with him, and we was in the Gentleman's Club. And in the Gentleman's Club, it was like what he's saying. We wasn't really throwing the money. We was just like giving the girls the money, right? And that's where the whole confusion about who started throwing the money came from, because I started doing this in Money in a Thing video, and I know people want to say they did it and did it. Well, you find a video that came out before Money in a Thing where you see rappers throwing money like this, right? And that I never had it wasn't about me trying to challenge nobody. It got to be like when Meech and them crew came, and it was like, oh damn, they throwing more money. We got to throw. It became like a money war. I was never part of that.
I was thinking about you too, man, watching the documentary, because especially thinking about everything that's going on in Atlanta now. Did you purposely, because you was outside connected with everybody, did you purposely stay away from rappers that were too in the street?
Nah, I'm not a street guy like that. I'm like, I'm a real hip hop person, right? A purist, basically, right? And I don't believe that you should be rapping about shit that you don't actually do, right? I've been that guy, right? If you ain't in the jury and you ain't don't talk about it. If you ain't fly, you don't be getting, then don't be making raps about it, right? And I ain't never had no reason to talk about me selling no dope. That just ain't been my life, right? I ain't come up like that.
What about signing artists that
I have
actually
signed
did?
artists like that. I mean, Brat smoked more weed than damn near Snoop Dogg. But you know what I mean? It wasn't from a drug dealer perspective. It's from an actual stoner perspective, right?
Yeah.
I just think the perspective of how I never was trying to sell, like I said, selling drugs. But I mean, you know, all the artists I think damn near talked about. I mean, the Franchise Boys, you know what I mean? White Tee is about dope boys, like all of that, all the music. I just think it's also camouflaged in beats that make you want to dance where you're not paying attention to it. It's not this dark, I'm gonna kill you type of music. You know,
And that was the other thing about Magic City too. Why are strip clubs? Why are you able to break records in strip clubs, but not like in the regular club? In the regular club, you got to play the records that keep the party going.
Yeah. Correct.
But in the strip club, you can try new shit. Why is that?
Because in any lounge setting, music is just played, right? It's just like almost like getting on the elevator. When you get on the elevator, you don't care what the music is. They playing all kind of music in the elevator, especially when you go like to Vegas. You hear all kind of stuff, and you're like, you might listen, you might not. You having a conversation, it's the same way. If it's ultimately it's for a DJ to pay attention. If he play a record and y'all over there talking, and then all of a sudden somebody start moving, you can see at that point this was not forced, right? And I feel like that's the most organic thing that we still have left in the music business. It's like organically, I didn't pay you to listen to my song, or ain't nobody come over there and over promote you to listen to my song. You just heard it and you like, damn, who was that? Who was that? That's like Quavo or something. You know, you could see the emotion on people trying to figure out what it is. Or you see somebody in there Shazam the song. This is actual real time.
At one time, were women banned from the strip club? I used to remember because they would be charged.
No, it was a period of time where non-dancing females looked down on dancers, and the gentleman's club was a gentleman's club. It wasn't no women in the gentleman's club. That's what it was called, and that's how that was our spot, right? But then these ladies start figuring out these guys are going there having fun. They eating and they not calling us. They not coming home. We want them to come home. What the hell is going on in this club? And then once, like I said, even like me with Janet, she wanted to go so bad. And I'm like, I'm just in there having fun, kicking it with my guys, eating, blah, blah, blah. And it was like multiple times where I was like, I'm not going. I'm not going. And then when I take her in there, she like, oh, I thought y'all was in here. I'm like, I don't know what y'all thought we was in here doing, but they thought it was something else prior to them going, and enough of them started going, and they start realizing, like, girl, they don't be doing nothing in there. They in there having a good time. If you are able to just party and not pay attention to the girls being naked, then you should be able to have a good time with your man or your friend or whoever that's in there. So I think that started, right? That situation started, and then guys start realizing, like, they didn't have to lie to their girls either, because ain't nobody having sex in Magic City. You know what I mean? They got other clubs where that might be going on. But Magic City is a full-on show, right? It's no way for you to be in there, you know what I mean, doing that in that club and people not see you or nothing. So that's not what happened. That's not what's happening in that club.
The other thing about Magic City, just watching the doc, Atlanta used to pride itself on having a unique sound.
Yeah.
Now a lot of folks say Atlanta music just kind of like blends into the mainstream. Do you feel like the city's lost this identity, or it's just a natural evolution?
No, I was trying to figure out how we talk about this, because I don't want people to get this misconstrued about me saying, because I'm not saying anything about what's going on with Thug, but what's happening with Thug is almost making people believe that that's all of Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Atlanta has a subculture of these female rappers right now with Pluto, YK, Bankroll Nia, Burna B, and they have a real thing going. They have a real motion going, and they have a real movement going that is being ignored. Like, right when they said, I saw people saying it's no song of the summer. Wham Whammy in Atlanta was the song of the summer.
That's Pluto, right?
Yeah, Pluto. Not just Atlanta though.
You know what I mean? That's the song of the summer. But for some reason, And it's the first time this ever happened to me in Atlanta. So I'm trying to figure out why. But this is the first time that anybody else that's in the press, they're stealing all of the energy away from all of the artists that's out there. Like we got Belly Gang, Kush, we got Suave, we got all these new artists that's hot. Even like Jid. Jid got a hot new record with Sierra, Earth Gang.
Yep.
And
That's the label fault, though.
No.
I love that record.
It's not the label fault. It's actually the media that all of the new artists claim that they don't want to deal with by saying they don't want gatekeepers. The media is acting like gatekeepers. And all they're talking about, all these little podcast guys, all they talking about is Thug. If you want to talk about that and that's what you got going, then cool. But don't say, this is Atlanta, Atlanta fell off, and you ain't mentioning these girls. You know what I mean? And you ain't mentioning Belly, and you ain't mentioning Jid new album, and you ain't cause now you deterring the energy that we out here putting out and making it seem like this is the only thing that's happening in Atlanta, and Atlanta's never been like that.
That's a great conversation you opening up, because I'm sitting there thinking, like, back in the day we had artists who had big records and you maybe didn't know the artist yet. But at some point, those dots connected. Like, you know, White Tees, Franchise Boy, all of that stuff. But then eventually you knew who the group was.
Yeah.
I think that's the disconnect. Like, you might hear the record but not know who the artist is connected
Well, I mean,
to that
they gotta work harder, but at the same time, it's like I said, it's still mainstream media is promoting this as Ratlanta. Like, that's not where I live at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, these girls, I'm just looking at these girls, and I manage Bankroll Naya, and just me coming into helping her with her career, what attracted me to it is that they doing this in a hip hop way. They using TikTok and whatever things means that they got to get what they want, and actually really creating a thing in hip hop. And the only thing that's missing is mainstream media paying attention to it.
Well, I think that takes sometimes people to run the circuit. Like, everybody talks about the Clips, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, yo, the Clips had one of the most genius rollouts. I'm like, that wasn't a genius rollout. It was just a rollout. That's what artists used to do.
Just a rollout.
So I think sometimes it takes somebody like you to say, nah, we're going on the circuit.
See, but
it was
the thing, even with the Franchise Boys, right? You took the Franchise Boys out on the road, right?
Yeah.
You went from market to market, city to city. You spoke to DJ, until it connected.
So somebody got to do that with an eye. And it got to be you, because you JD.
I mean, it can't be me to make my artist, but I get you. I understand what
Same
you're
thing with
saying.
JID. Jid, like, he has to get out there, and people, like, they know his music, but do they know his face as much?
Yeah.
Same thing with Pluto. I love the fact that Pluto is out. She's out and about. She came on the Breakfast Club. She's doing podcasts. She's starting to see her face outside of her music. But we don't see that a lot anymore. And with the thing I was going to ask you, with what's going on with Atlanta, I've never seen Atlanta in a place where it seems like it's been so much against each other. Because Atlanta is usually the place where everybody fucks with each other. Everybody sees each other at the club. Everybody sees each other at Magic City. You see everybody together, whether they on good terms or not, they're together. And I've never seen Atlanta in a place where it seems like they're not connected.
But that's what I'm saying. If we put this, I mean, you're right, both sides, but if we put the eyes on these girls, they're demonstrating what you're talking about. They making records with each other. They making songs. They putting out records every weekend. It's one record with Burna B and YK. It might be Bankroll Naya the next weekend. This person, they're showing that they cool, they kicking it, they not beefing, even though YK and Pluto kind of split, but they still out here moving in a motion that shows the love that what you talking about Atlanta was prior. And that's really what I wanted to do with my album, is just get back to that and just put people in spaces that I didn't that I haven't seen people doing. So when I put like J Money and Sean Paul on the same record, that's what I was trying to do. Is like, because that's how I grew up seeing Atlanta.
But people got to make the rounds. Like, these niggas ain't Beyonce.
Yeah.
Like, some of these niggas like to drop music with no promotion, no marketing.
Nobody's Beyonce. Let's put that out there, niggas. Everybody got to stop doing that shit.
Yes.
In the music business, everybody got to stop doing that. I say that every time an album come out. Like, I don't understand what you think you're gonna get by not giving.
Yes, and once again, I go back to the Clips. The Clips, OG rap group, showed everybody what you supposed to do when you got a project coming out.
For sure.
Go work all the rooms. Like, you can't just put your shit online and expect people to come to you.
Yeah, for sure.
They did. They were out on the street and performed in the middle of Brooklyn at a block party.
You got to do that.
They went to the car show. They went to concerts. They did radio. They did You podcast. They did everything they was to get those numbers, and it showed.
I saw these memes going around about the VMAs this past weekend, this week. And everybody was like, yo, it was like this meme saying, this is how I feel watching the VMAs. You know less and less people every year. And that's not because you getting older. It's because a lot of these people just ain't running the circuit.
Well,
everybody you just named, the only person I know face is Pluto.
Yeah, I mean, but the VMAs, I went, and I was going to tweet while I was there, but I was like, I'm not going to do it because I might get in trouble and might turn into something else. But black culture is what is driving the internet when it comes to music, right? It ain't enough black culture at the VMAs for where the culture is from this interviewing space, right? And I think that's a disconnect that you see at the VMAs. And so a lot of the artists don't know if they should go because they don't know, you know what I mean? Because it's been front loaded with like people like Paris Hilton and I mean, you know, they put Lotto and what's her name?
Ice Spice.
Yeah, Ice Spice on there, but that's what I'm saying. It's still like it's like let's forget about the down low people that's really coming up. I thought Busta should have got what he got, but we should have saw somebody new. You know what I mean? Jid, Sierra, and, you know what I mean? They could have easily performed though. I just don't think that. I just don't think people are actually, from the mainstream perspective, of paying attention to this groundswell of music that's happening.
And then what do you do? Because I know for a fact that first time I heard your album, I'm like, yo, this skate record goes with Sierra and Earth Gang. When you're a Jid and you're telling the label this is the record, but the label saying, nah, let's go with something else. But then the label ain't servicing nothing to radio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, well, you gotta, you know, like Envy knows, he's saying it. You gotta bring these labels to what's going on. That ain't never been a non-practice, right? When we had Never Scared, it was Super Bowl weekend in Atlanta. I flew everybody to Atlanta, and my mindset was, when everybody leave, everybody gonna leave here saying Bone Crusher is the biggest record they heard in Atlanta. People left Atlanta and they were saying that Bone Crusher record is the big. When everybody got back to New York, that was what was happening in their office. Can you send me this Bone Crusher record? What's up with that Bone Crusher artist? Blah blah blah. That's always been part of the practice. I don't know why people think that these things change. You have to. None of these people know. You know what I mean? Like, nobody skates, right? These older people that's in these labels, they not skating. So how do they know that it's a skating thing going on in Atlanta three days out of the week? What night is popping? They're not even trying to go. They just thinking about music. But we are actually selling culture inside our records, and we actually doing what we talk. It's like selling drugs. If you talk about the drug rappers, that's why so many of them going to jail, because it's actually real life.
What skating rink was it? Cascades? Would that be the equivalent of Magic City for the skating rinks in Atlanta?
On the west side, but it's a skating rink on every side. Like where I'm from, we had Sparkles and we had and we got Skate Town. But I think like where we shot the video for Jid is at Golden Glide. That's on the east side. So all of like each side of Atlanta, they got skating rinks.
Did they break records in the skate rinks?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to say that the first time I ever heard the Jacquees hit that he had was at the skating rink, and it was on like because they do know the crazy part about it is like R&B records, they do slow skate or they do couple skate, and they don't play no ghetto music when they do that. They actually play whatever the ballad is, right? So I'm sure like right now the Chris Brown record probably going crazy in the skate rink. I haven't been in the last couple of months, but I'm sure it goes crazy when they do the couple skate, and that definitely breaks music.
You produce skate?
No, I'm just saying these are talking about Hero Records.
Oh, got you. No, I'm saying you didn't produce the G record. Okay, got you.
I wanted to ask, we had Coach K up here about a week ago, and he was saying that the industry is missing A&Rs, right? And we talk about it a lot. Do you still think that we need somebody to develop these artists, to help develop these artists?
100%. But the A&Rs need somebody to develop them. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? That's the truth. Because the problem is that the A&Rs is acting more like babysitters. They scared to tell the artist like that ain't hot, and because they know if they tell them, the artist might smack shit out of them, or the artist might call the label and be like, y'all don't like him, right? So people trying to be friends with people as opposed to like giving them creative criticism, and it's not it's not helping the music. You know what I mean? It's crazy because I was working with so many artists doing this album, and the artists come in the studio and they like, JD, don't just not produce me. Let me make me sound the best. So it's artists out here that want creative criticism. I just think it's from people gotta get back to like making sure that that's their job. And when you see a person, they understand that that's what they're supposed to get from you.
Every time I see you and I talk to you, I always ask you the same thing. I feel like you're one of those hip hop people that are underrated, right? That people forget about what you've done and the lineage you put out there and the people that you brought out. Do you always feel that way? And when does JD tell his own story in a movie form where you talk about the beginning, the artist you popped, the A&Rs you birthed, the producers you birthed, the sound you brought out? When does that happen? Because people don't necessarily forget, and even to this day, sometimes I'm like, damn, JD did that one too?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. You know, I can't. I was thinking about this on the way up here today. I was like, I'm gonna see what Charlamagne I get today. I'm gonna get the cool Charlamagne. I'm gonna get the, you know what I mean, what Charlamagne I'm gonna get. But last time I was here, I told y'all wasn't gonna have nobody come up here that would have a #1 record in the same time that I did with the Money Long record, right? This time I'm here, and Billboard basically finally named me the #1 producer of the 21st century of hip hop and R&B. So I feel like the tide is changing. You know what I mean? It's like I saw Busta say something at his speech the other day. Like, it's timing, man. When God wants you to get your flowers, he gonna give them to you. You don't rush it. So I've just been sitting back waiting. I feel like everything that you saying, it's gonna eventually come, because at the end of the day, when you look at that list, based on who I started with, ain't none of them niggas even on the list. You know what I mean? Like, this a whole new list of people that I'm going against based on who the guys I came out with. So long as I just keep doing what I'm doing, I think that is one of my, most proud accomplishments, though, to make that list, because I feel like for the first time, people have to really like go and see why. And when you go see why, first of all, the list is not comprised of your heart and your stomach. It's comprised of who has the most #1s in the last 21st century. Them is facts. Like, that's what I was telling you last time we was up here. When you start dealing with the stats, it's a different conversation. And I feel like if people start having to have that conversation, then, the respect has to change at that point. I mean, I seen people like completely mad about Beyonce being at #5 on that list, but Beyonce actually produces these records. She's telling the other people in the room, like, this is what I want. Do a drop right here. This, you know what I mean? That's production. So, you know what I mean?
Even with the verses beats too, though.
I mean, I've never been, but I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure.
But even with the versus conversation, I remember the versus conversation, and they played you so, I don't want to say so little, but they made it seem like at the time Puff was going to wax you, right? And you start thinking about the amount of records you produced and the hits that you did, the records that you wrote. That's why you were so like, let's do this. Let's do this. I mean, I'm sure it will never happen, but is that the reason why you was like, you wanted to do it so bad?
Yeah,
it was going to happen.
Yeah, I did. I mean, and I wanted to do it here in New York because I wanted, you know what I mean? I feel like, I performed at the Tunnel. I done been in the shit storm of hip hop. So it ain't none of that scare me, right? At the end of the day, and I feel like that's the only way at that time that people were gonna realize, like, oh, this nigga's crazy, right? Because I can't keep saying it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It's at this point, if you ain't, I saw somebody say, yesterday when I said something about the female rappers like I'm saying right now, and somebody commented and said, now you want to say something good about female rappers. I'm like, damn, did I not get y'all the brat
first
before
female hip-hop rapper to go play?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
solo.
I have the ability to talk about female rappers more than anybody because I'm the one that took the chance to even try to see if it worked, right? But people don't want to, they still want to fight it. Like, so I'm like, whatever, it is what it is.
What still motivates you
Hold
now?
on, real quick. One of the illest things I think about this list, when you look at this Billboard list.
Name the list. Name the top 5 so people
But
know.
I'm only going to name top 2, but you #1. And then I guess that's your protege.
Yeah,
Brian Michael Cox is
my partner.
#2.
That's my partner.
Yeah. How did that make you feel?
I mean, amazing, because when you think about like what people say about like Michael Jordan and basketball, I always use these. They always talk about like you can only be the best if you can make other people better, right? In any business, right? I think that's the thing. Like, so, I mean, half of them songs that put Brian in there is the same songs that got me up there. So it's like we make each other better. So I mean, that's the focus that we have when we work. And the records that we do together, it's just, that's the focus. We have a goal amongst us both, And if he was lower on that list, I'd be mad because I'm like, it ain't no way possible. You know what I mean? He's been right there with me every step of the way.
And I think too, like when I think about Mariah Carey getting, you know, the accolades she got the other night at the VMAs, I don't know if that happens without you. And what I mean by that is Mariah had a fantastic career, but that album was like a comeback album that kind of solidified her forever.
I was talking to her about this yesterday, and I was saying, like, it would have happened without me. But Mariah Mariah is such a New York hip hop person that she wants to gravitate towards the shit, right? As opposed to like promoting the Boyz II Men record, which was her first song of the decade, right? She ain't even performed that song the other night. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she got records that's bigger than the records I did that she just like, yeah, you know, we gonna do this tonight. This is what we gonna do. I love it because I'm a part of it, but don't get it twisted. These songs is, you know what I mean? She got records that she could do that's like Hero, you know what I mean? These songs that's huge that made her. Mariah had sold 30 million records before I even worked with her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
but that charm bracelet and then that what was that movie called? I don't even remember now.
Sparkle.
Like, Sparkle. Like that it was dark for her.
Yeah, but one black eye can't kill you.
No, that's true. But then you came back with Emancipation of Mimi, and that's a nuclear bomb.
I mean,
like that's not a normal album. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I always look at that like I can't take credit for Mariah. She's who she is, and she was who she was before. I'm just happy that she let me be a part of the ride.
I think that puts more pressure on you, though. And what I mean by that is when you're tasked with going in there with an iconic person already and creating something that gets them, you know, back seen the way that they were seen before their, you know, last flop. That says a lot that you was able to accomplish that.
Then it put pressure on me?
I would think so back then.
Nah, because I don't think about it. Like, you know, like the thing about it is when I go in the studio with people, I don't get caught up in what's happening in their life. And I think that was what was going on in her life outside of the studio. I go in the studio and I'm like, I say this all the time. When I work with Aretha Franklin, she made me realize, like, listen, if you gonna be in here working and I'm gonna pay you and we gonna let you get this credit, you better say what the fuck you gotta say. If I sound bad, if I don't even sound halfway good, she was like, tell me to do it again. And I'm like, I can't tell Aretha Franklin nothing. Like, this Aretha Franklin. But the way she was talking to me was like, I flew you here to Detroit to cut my vocals.
Damn.
So what you gonna do? You gonna sit there and just watch me? Or if that's, I'm going home. That's what she told me. She says, literally, I'm going home if that's what you're gonna do. And that's when I sat there for a minute. I'm like, you know what? I gotta do this. I just got to be brutally honest with artists. And when it came to Emancipation of Mimi, We Belong Together, we made the song. I'm like, listen, Mariah, if you don't hit the note at the end of the record ain't going to be what people want the record to be. They want you to, that's what they want. Yeah, we got to give them what they want. And it was like, nobody else wanted to say this. I had to say it. And I had to be like, you know, if you don't like me for saying what is real, then why are we in the room together?
What was one artist that didn't like you being brutally honest? That was like, nah, this is not for me.
Nobody. I don't think nobody. I mean, I think everybody they don't want to address it, but when it's right, they like, oh, okay, you know. But there's a lot of them, like, you know, Bow Wow didn't like, oh, I think they like me. Usher didn't
Bow Wow
like.
seems like you wrestle with him every time you're in the studio. That's what it's about.
But I'm saying Usher didn't like You Make Me Wanna. And you have to sit there and be like, man,
that's crazy.
Why? What are you listening to that make you not like this song?
So what did you say to Mariah Carey when she didn't do the last note at the end, right? The note that everybody tries to sing. Did you call her back and be like, hey, I need you to do the woo? Like, how did that
what's
conversation?
crazy is we had 6 hours to do We Belong Together. She came to Atlanta. We did everything in the song except for that note, right? The song was finished. And I kept saying, Mariah, when you do the, you know, because she also was going to sing her vocals when she came back. And I just kept saying, when you sing the vocals, make sure you end the song with this note. And it wasn't there. It wasn't in there. And it was just like, you had to say it. I felt like I had to keep saying it before she left me because I wasn't going to be there with her. And sometimes, you know, artists want to be cool. And like Mariah is like a singer that can really sing, but she's a rapper. She want to be like, she want to do rapper shit. So she don't actually be wanting to like show you how well she can sing no more. And I'm like, no, show these niggas you can really fucking sing. They can't, by the way. So you have to do that. You have to tell her, because she's a rapper. I told her this other night.
How many times? I want to know how many times did she have to do that last note?
Her? I don't think she had to do that. I mean, it don't take her long when she's in that mode. But just
she did that last. Woo!
Yeah, that don't take her
one
long.
time.
No, it don't take her long. Mariah's she's flawless when she wanna be, but like I say, she's so New York. I'm telling you, like the first time I went to work with Mariah, I came here, I didn't know what to expect. She walked in the studio and she laid a CD on the desk, and it was the Wu-Tang Cream, and she was like, "I want you to sample this. This is what I'm singing over," and I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not, because I start thinking about, like, you already successful. You think I'm getting ready to be the nigga that's going to put cream under you and make you, we not doing that. I'm not doing that, right? But that I quickly learned who she was. Like,
Somebody just told us that story. Who the hell was it?
Like, that's who she is.
No, somebody told us that story about Mariah wanted to sing over Cream. Who was it? Somebody literally just told us that story. Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
That's her thing. Like right now, she put out a song where she's over Eric B for president.
Yeah.
She's New York to the core.
What was it about the emancipation of Mimi that got her back to where she needed to be? Was it the freedom that maybe you provided? Because I started Brat telling this story about how Tommy Mottola got guns pulled on you because you let Mariah go to Burger King.
I didn't let them do nothing. They pulled off and went on their own. But yeah.
So tell the story, because I don't know the story.
Okay, so the first time I started working with Mariah, I decided to do a Always Be My Baby remix, right? So I brought Escape and the Brat to her house that was out in upstate with her and Tommy. And this was the first time I started bringing my people around Mariah. And I brought Brat. Her and Brat kicked it. They hit it off. And she convinced Brat, or either Brat convinced her, let's take a trip in the car, just me and you, and go to McDonald's or some old shit like this.
So they left together, no security,
They left
nothing.
the ground without me knowing, and niggas showed up in the studio like, what's going on? I'm like, I seen motherfuckers running around like, and they all was looking at me like, JD, this your person. She done ran off with Mariah, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that was a crazy moment. This is my first time being there. This is my first time at her house. And I bring some niggas over. This was just like a story. You bring some niggas over to the house, and this what happened. And I'm in the house like this, like I'm just trying to make a record, man. What the fuck is going on?
So you called the Brat, like, where you at?
Yeah, I called her. She's like, we just getting some fries. And I'm like, what? Why? And she was saying that Mariah just, like, at that period in time, Mariah was, this was a different type of success life at this point.
Real
Mariah
celebrity.
She wasn't the artist that could go outside and go to McDonald's, or she wasn't even doing that. Like, she was sheltered in the house, and she just wanted to get out. And Brat was her person that was ready to go escape and do it.
That's great.
So was it that level of freedom you provided her? That's what the album's called The Emancipation of Mimi.
No, I think I make Mariah comfortable, right? And I don't fake with her about the music that we should make. And I think that's what makes her feel free, free. Because I'm telling anybody, if you sing, make singing records, man. Like, ain't like, I get it, you want to rap, and I'm a rapper at heart, but I learned how to make music, and I learned through the success that I've had that these people want these records to sound like the records that they know. The audience don't change, right? So I just have to keep beating that in people's minds and letting them know, like, listen, you might want to change your shit up, but the person that's listening, they want the new Mariah record to sound like the Mariah record that they heard before. Yeah. And that's always a hard fight with artists.
Did you ever take her to Magic City?
Yeah, no. She won't. She probably won't go to this. That ain't her bag.
Now back to Usher. You said Usher didn't like make me wanna.
Yeah.
Why not? What was the problem with that?
I don't know.
And how'd you force him to finally do it?
Well, I mean, I had to force him, but he just let me know it wasn't like that wasn't where he felt he should be coming with. At this point in time, Usher was still not sure where his career was gonna go, so he still cut the song, luckily. But if we was in that space right now, he not gonna cut the song. Right now, he ain't gonna be like, I don't fuck with that song.
So right now, he don't care. If he don't like it, I'm not doing it.
It's not even gonna get cut.
Even now? Like,
Yeah,
I
right now.
I would trust you to...
Nah, right. He gonna be like, that's right now. I'll be like, yo, Usher, please cut this song. Usher turn his phone off. Like,
when you look at this new generation of Atlanta rappers, do you feel they understand the history of the city sound, or is this all about what's hot right now?
Well, I think they do, but I don't think they respect it from a level of how high you should be holding it, right? Because a lot of people in Atlanta still don't understand how we even got to where we are, right? I did an interview the other day, like about, first of the month or something like that with Big Facts, right? And
salute to Big Facts.
And Bank was saying, JD, niggas in Atlanta used to think you wanted to be from New York. And it's funny because it wasn't that I wanted to be from New York. It's just this is where hip hop lives, and this is where hip hop was at. And it wasn't hip hop, no hip hop in Atlanta, right? It wasn't no place in Atlanta that even gave me what I felt I was getting when I came to the city. And I wasn't getting anything. I was treated like I wasn't even supposed to be here. But still, I was looking at people doing what I wanted to do, right? So I'm like, yo, we gotta figure out how to get this going. So he was telling me that when I did Money in the Thing, that it felt like I wanted to be from New York as opposed. I wanted to be the first nigga from Atlanta to make a record with a nigga from Brooklyn that everybody kept claiming was gonna be who he became to be. And I don't think people understand that move as much as they want to try to make it seem like I want to be from New York. I was trying to be the first person to push us forward and make sure that Atlanta exists the way it does in hip hop.
Did you have to pay Hov for that record? How did that record come about? Money in the Thing.
No, I had to pay him. I mean, it was my idea from the jump, and he took it and put it on his album once it started popping. So it was just an even swap.
So who when you talk, I love these Atlanta stories because I really feel like Atlanta story still hasn't been told the way it should have. That's why I'm glad y'all did the Freaknik doc and y'all got the Magic City doc. But when you think of Atlanta, who should really get the credit for introducing the world to Atlanta hip hop?
Me.
Jermaine Dupri or Outkast?
Me.
Outkast was calling. Dungeon Family.
Outkast was calling So Def trying to get signed. Like, I think one of the things that we have to really start doing is in dealing with me, and that's where it goes, like people start moving the goalposts, is that Kriss Kross was the first rap group from Atlanta to sell over 2, 3, 4 million records. Point blank. Ain't no ifs and buts about it, right? But when we start having a conversation about Kriss Kross, people start trying to make it seem like it's kiddie rap, right? But then when I start saying something about me making a record, the nigga start saying, OG, it's a young man game. If it's a young man game, then give it to the young man who started the shit for the city, right? But when you ask for that credit, niggas try to make it seem like, nah, it can't be these kids. But that don't make sense, right? It don't. You 1 minute it's for the kids, then the next minute the kids, you don't want to give the kids the credit. And I think that's the biggest mistake in Atlanta hip hop is that niggas don't give Kriss Kross the credit for pushing the door open. Like T.I. definitely says that he started rapping because he saw Kriss Kross and he realized that he didn't have to be old. He didn't have to be 25 years old to make a record. He saw some little niggas from his hood making music, and he was like, I can do it, right? Even Killer Mike says the same thing. And I feel like, you got a couple of people that's like these guys that say it, but the rest of the city, if you start having conversation about it, it's always who started it first. Kriss Kross came out way before Outkast. You know what I'm saying? And they sold 8 million records the first album. You can't just not talk about that.
What's the biggest difference between being a music mogul in the 90s versus being one now? Because they don't look the same.
Yeah, no, they don't look the same. They don't look the same. And I think that the difference now is that it just ain't a bunch. That's what it is. That's the ultimate difference because we all learned from everybody. I learned most of everything that I started doing from Russell. You know what I mean? Just seeing Russell Simmons do what he was doing. Andre Harrell, rest in peace. Just everybody, we had books of people that we could look at and read their book damn near and be like, okay, if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it like this. If I'm gonna have this company, I'm gonna have it like this. We don't have that no more, right? We don't have that no more. And I need it. You know what I'm saying? Even me, I need it. So it's therefore it's like, I mean, at least I always used it. I might be that person that people look at this point, but I'm saying for the most part, we don't have these guys that's out here that you could actually look at and be like, okay, I want to, even like Jay Prince. If Jay Prince was doing what he was doing in Houston, they not doing that no more in Houston, right? So niggas in Houston don't even have nobody to like pattern what they doing off of nobody. They can talk about it, but you don't see nobody coming out of Houston that's like the new Jay Prince.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
It's interesting, too, with Atlanta because history always repeats itself. And you think about all the different sounds that have come out of Atlanta. Now, like, I love Metro Boomin out. And the stuff you got on the Magic City soundtrack sound like that, too. Why is that era, it seemed like, coming back?
Well, I mean, mine is because it's connected to the doc, right? I think Metro and them was on to something that was just like, they felt like I said, I don't know where these girls, what mindset these female rappers was in when they started, but they started taking these old records and remaking new records on top of them. So like all these Zaytoven beats, that's the Pluto song. When Whammy was a Zaytoven beat, right? Like I said, the girl Bankroll Naya that I work with, she got a bunch of these records that they're taking all of these older records and they putting new records on there. So I think the feel of it, when you start seeing that feels like, okay, you know, everybody that make music always try to get into the tempo and what's gonna go with the next song as a producer. I mean, that's what I do. So if you listening to, oh, I think they like me beat, and somebody come on with a new song, then your next move is to damn near make a record that sound like Lean With It, Rock With It. It's just automatic because you can't just come with a song that, you can't just blow by and be like, I ain't paying no attention to that tempo. Let's do something else. No, that ain't never been hip hop. So I just think that it's just a wave. Like I said, these girls, they started, and I just feel like you seeing people just follow the wave.
It's gonna be interesting to see what that Take Me Through There record. Yeah. What that influences.
Yeah, that, you know? But I'm saying that's YK though. Yeah, so I mean that's what I'm saying. It's like it's just they wave, and people just they started it. You know.
Now we talked about a lot of stuff that you've done in your history. What's left that Jermaine wants to do that he hasn't done yet? Like, because you did everything. You did docu-series. You did produce for every decade. What's left that you want to do that's like, this is the last thing I want to do, or this is something I want to do?
Just continue, man. I think that like there's a lot of stuff that I did that I didn't know what I was doing, right? So it was like go back and do it in a way now that I know. Like when I came up here and talked about the rap game, I ain't know what that show was gonna be. I ain't know Lotto was gonna come from that show. I ain't know. I don't know what was gonna happen, right? Now I know. Now people know that show would be accepted, you know, and received so much better now because people know.
It wasn't accepted back then like I think it would be now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's also proven though.
Yeah, it's just really just like I said, a lot of the stuff is like I'm the first to like step out here and see what's going on, and you don't even know what's happening. And once it worked, if you come back and do it again, it's like, oh, okay, now people fucking with this and they might do it. But that's a lot of the stuff I just like, you know, like even like the Division. I signed Division, and the first album that I did with Division, I jumped out here with a song called If I Get Caught, and, you know, their fan base was a little like, we don't fuck with that, right? I was just trying to make records and get them guys popular because I felt like they too good to be such a box group. And they also wanted that song, so I'm not gonna just say I pushed it on them, but at the same time, I learned in that process, they got a fan base, right? And they make love music. And you can't come out with a group that make love music talking about if I get caught cheating, that just is not it's gonna be a crash. So this new project, we put out 2 new records last week, and all I see is people online saying, this is the Division we wanted. This is what I'm talking about. You know, Joe Budden was talking about it. So you just learn. I just learned. So I don't know. I feel like, you know, I just had to look at the things that I feel like I didn't know what I was doing totally, and then just come back and do it again and try to make it right the way that I feel like it should have been the first time.
What's the hardest personal sacrifice you've made for your career?
Life. I don't really have no life. I just be making music. You know what I mean? And I have people that tell me this all the time, like, JD, you know, you don't really, my baby mothers be saying this, like, you know, your life is the music. all you do is care about the music. All you care about is putting out records. All you care about is doing what you're doing every day. And that's the truth. It is. That's what it is. I don't care about nothing else.
You don't enjoy the money? You don't go on vacation?
I mean, that come along with it, but that's not a chase for me.
Right.
Like, my chase is to be, like what they said on the Billboard. I get number one. I feel like I finally did something by getting number one on that list.
But then it's never enough because you want more.
Nah, but now it's like, but it's also like fighting. It's like boxing. You gotta. Can you stay in that space, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like watching Floyd and Tyson talk about they gonna fight. It's like Floyd retired, but he still want to be the best. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not saying I'm retired. I'm out here. So I just know that, like, I also know that there's space in hip hop and R&B that hasn't been touched. What I'm doing, going from 92 and becoming the number one producer of the 21st century in 2025, ain't been seen ever, right? So if you start doing shit that ain't never been seen, you don't have no reason. I don't have no reason to stop. I just gotta, pray to God that don't stop. You know what I mean?
It's funny. I wonder if hip hop limits Jermaine Dupri. And what I mean by that is when people start talking about who's the greatest producers of all time, they'll start, naming a bunch of people who do a lot of hip hop records, right? But you got to just say Jermaine is a musician. If you said Jermaine is just a musical producer, then I think the conversation is a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's hard, man, because I feel like I switch up on people so much. When I'm in R&B mode, I'm not talking about no rap, right? I remember one time I came up here and I was so R&B'd out, and I'm waving the flag for R&B, and I ain't talking about nothing rap. I think that confuses the podcast and the guys that usually talk to me about. They like, wait a minute, I thought this nigga was money and a thing, and you was, Magic City. This nigga's over here talking about you want to make division records. You know what I mean? I think that throws the whole thing off because I do switch. I mean, that's the only way I can do it. That's the only way I can make it is to get away from one thing for a minute and go into that space and be 100% in that space.
Is there a media bias even towards the South? Because I think about that with the producers and the artists. Because there's some artists from the South who should be getting mentioned as top lyricists all the time. There's some producers from the South who should be getting mentioned as top producers.
I just think that, and I want to send Bank a shout out because I feel like his interview with Thug
fantastic
pushes
brilliant.
Finally, somebody in Atlanta to the forefront of hip hop media in the city of Atlanta, and I think it's taken 30 years for somebody in the city of Atlanta to be the person that you have to sit down and talk to if you that guy in hip hop. And he just made himself that person, if you ask me.
He killed it.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you said that because I said it on the air. Regional identity matters in media.
100%. And everything.
And Atlanta's been the hip hop capital for so long, but have never had that media person. Salute to Gray Street and all, but they've never had that person you got to go sit
And I
down
think that's the
to.
problem. It's like every time somebody from Atlanta that's popped, they always had to come to New York. And no disrespect, but I've been saying it should have been somebody that did what he did with Future, Ludacris. When T.I. got out of jail, we done had so many artists that have so many stories, but they missed the opportunity like what just happened with Thug because we don't have that person in the city. And that goes to the culture. Like, people should, like I just saw the magazine out there with you on the front cover of Variety. I never seen that before, right? In Atlanta, I don't think young people read and see things like that to push them to say, you know what? I want to do what Charlamagne doing, man. I want to do what Envy doing. He got a car show. Like, they don't see that enough to distract them. All they see is JD throwing money and this nigga throwing money. Them niggas rapping niggas. I'm gonna be a rapper. Nah, you ain't gotta be no rapper. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Bank getting ready to hit the bank.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Based on what he just did, that one interview, as far as I'm concerned, if he do what he gotta do and he keep it at that level and the way he talked to him, it makes you gonna have people that really want to sit down and like let you interview him the same way you did.
And Big Facts has already been that platform to me.
Yeah.
Right? And then now to see Bank doing the perspective with Banks, I agree with you 100%.
But it took 30 years. That's what I'm saying. It took 30 years for somebody to say, this what we need. I'm gonna do it like this, right? And I'm really happy to see that. I feel like that's gonna change the city, because somebody gonna see that and they gonna create another one, right? And at that point, that world will open up. Because when I came here, I think the beginning of me talking about Magic City, I was like, yo, everybody in New York got a fucking podcast. I mean, everywhere I went, everybody got a podcast. Including them got one across the street in a little bar.
Fat Joe.
Everybody, Fat Joe and them. I was going to all of them. I mean, Carmelo and them out in Brooklyn. It's a podcast everywhere. And I was just like, this bug ain't hit Atlanta yet.
Nah, they got them in Atlanta because you got Big Facts, you got Bank, you got 85 South shows in Atlanta, you got Paul Mine podcast based out of Atlanta. That's 4.
Y'all got about 20 out there.
That is true.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's just, and they moving. Y'all got 20 out here that's moving. I'm just saying these guys that you like, the 85 South show, I think that's probably the closest next. But after that, it ain't no real ain't nobody you gotta talk to.
Paul Mines is big. You should sit down, Paul.
But you ain't gotta talk to him. That's all I'm saying. I'm just talking about as far as if you one of these people, I feel like we ain't had nobody that you have to talk to. Like if they was call the record company, they like, Joe Jermaine, who you want to have a in-depth conversation with? And then your name gonna come up, and then who's the competitor to Charlamagne in Atlanta?
You know, Paul Mines ain't from Atlanta too. You know, they're from Houston.
But they're based in Atlanta.
They're based in Atlanta, right? Right.
So I just feel like Bank put himself in the category.
I agree.
To get,
he did, yeah, absolutely.
You know, the Gucci Mans, all of these people that we want to hear.
Gunna should be calling Bank right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Gunna should be calling Bank like, yo, I need to come sit down with you, and just to not saying reply, but
yeah, you know, I mean, but it ain't even like
we've never heard his side. We've never heard him talk.
It's just like I said, he just made it where. Like Oprah Winfrey, like you want to watch it, you want to hear it, and he's not going to hold back on the questions, and he's creditable in that category to where you can't run no bullshit on him.
That's right.
Because he going to let you know you running some bullshit.
But that's what I love. He wasn't afraid to push back.
Nah, but I mean, he don't have no, that's him. You know what I'm saying? He the guy that told me when I said, he's like, JD, we thought you want to be from New York. That's who told me that. Right? And I'm like, nah, I wasn't trying to be from New York. I'm trying to just push my music. And I just feel like I said, I applaud him on that interview. He did it.
Absolutely. Fantastic. I got 2 more questions. What's the one misconception about JD that you wish people would let go
of? That I'm anything like any of these other people that we talk about. I don't do none of the people talking about they got a case with Kriss Kross. I don't do none of that shit. All that shit people, I ain't got time for all that. I make music, right? If you want to talk about music, then that's what we talk about. If you want to talk about all this other bullshit that's going on in the world, I'm not your guy for that.
You talking about free calls?
Free calls, whatever you want to call it. Like, not free calls. I think they got transporting kids and all of this type of shit going on out here now. Yeah. And just, I feel like because we have seen so many people do and get in trouble for things, it's like, well, JD part of that system too.
JD, I ain't never hear your name in no bullshit.
Nah, but I'm saying like,
I ain't never hear your name in no bullshit.
I mean,
and I've been around you a long time. I ain't never seen no BS.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't have no reason to be doing that. Like, I don't have no reason to do it. And I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, a lot of my success, I was with Janet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was the first nigga to be out here doing that besides Bobby and Whitney. You know what I mean? Me and Janet was together before J and B actually really announced it. So I was kind of like pushed to the side like a boyfriend type of dude that was like just making music. So I don't know. I think that's the one. I think people they want me to be in that shit, but I'm not going in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, you one of the few, it seems. Like, yo, you, Jay-Z, like, y'all planes are landing with the wheels out.
100%.
A lot of people planes did not land with the wheels out.
I mean, well, I had this conversation with Chad because Chad Ellie, shout out to Chad Ellie, that's my best friend. And we've been friends since I was 12, 13. And we was talking about the list, the Billboard list. And we started out in the garage. I used to live with him in Brooklyn, Eastern Parkway. And we used to make, we go buy records and we ain't know what we was doing. We was just trying to make beats. And we ain't had no drum machines. We just used to use our imagination. And I was telling him about it the other night. I was like, yo, we got a toast. I'm #1 producer, right? And he was like, man, just sitting here thinking about it made me want to cry because it's like what we went through for me to even be in that space. I don't think people even realize. So it's just like, all I focus on is that, man. Just trying to be. I'm trying to be the top of the game, and I made it. I'm just trying to stay in that space.
When your name is mentioned 50 years from now, what's the one record or one artist you want to define your legacy?
I don't know who the artist is. Somebody great. I mean, I think like watching Mariah get the Vanguard Award and her performing in that piece, 2 of records that I did. I think that means a lot. You know what I mean? Like, almost like you saying, it's like my records are loud enough to make people damn near believe that I had something to do with her success. And that's a to me, that's a mean accomplishment, because I didn't have anything to do with her becoming who she is.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I mean, no, because it's a second wave.
Yeah, but I'm saying I think I might have made more black people like her.
Yes.
But she's still Mariah Carey.
Yeah, but it says something when you to me. I mean,
I get it.
And that's her best album.
I get it. And
Emancipation Mimi is Mariah Carey's best album.
Absolutely.
That's probably the definitive album of her whole career. That's her Thriller. It just is.
I don't know.
Well, JD, I know you got to run.
Well, yeah. I mean, before I go, I got an album. I think my album's coming out on Friday. I think because I had a lot of sample clearance issues. It was supposed to come out last Friday, to go with the doc. But I'm hoping it comes out this Friday, because this is the last episode of Magic City this Friday. So we're trying to make sure the album comes out, and I'm supposed to turn it in by 4:00. So that's what my running is doing.
All right.
That's what my phone is doing right now.
All right. Well, JD, Jermaine Dupri, make sure you check out the Magic City doc and, of course, the album. We appreciate you always for joining us.
Nah, thank you.
It's The Breakfast Club. It's JD.
Hold up. Every day I wake up.
Wake your ass up.
The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?